Artificial intelligence computer programs will likely destroy the human race. But before that happens, there's a good chance they can actually stop cheating in video games. And that's what I call a silver lining. Now, if you're like me and you use the internet, then there's a good chance that you've heard something about AI, or rather AGI learning models, artificial general intelligence. OpenAI, ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney, and more AI-based programs are creating tools that are fundamentally changing the way that we, create things. But there's also major concerns that as soon as these AI server clusters become self-aware, they may choose to, destroy civilization, and we probably won't be able to do anything about it. And if that happens, then I guess I'll be seeing you guys in the Matrix. And aside from our impending doom, there's recently been more talk about how this new AI technology might actually be able to solve the cheating problem in video games, which is a good thing considering that recent data suggests that about 1 in 3 people are cheating in competitive-based video games. Just let that sink in. 1 in 3 people. And while you're letting that sink in, here's a quick word from our sponsor. It's spring, the time of year when people really fall off the wagon with their New Year's dieting resolutions. However, today's sponsor makes it super easy to eat healthy. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen meals right to your door on a schedule of your choosing. They have dietitian-approved calorie-smart meals with around 550 calories per serving or less. And not only do Factors taste way better than frozen meals, but the lack of freezing means that you're probably getting better nutrients as well. They have a rotating weekly menu with 34 chef-prepared meals and over 45 add-on options, just like these fruit smoothies here. I've made Factors a part of my weekly routine, and I absolutely love them. All you have to do is pop Factors meals into the microwave for a few minutes, and they're ready to serve. Factor will also custom build your orders based on food preferences and meal history. So try Factor today. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code LevelCap50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. That's factor75.com or click the link below and use code LevelCap50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Alright, back to video games. Cheating has become as prolific as it's ever been. Almost 4 years ago, I made a video dedicated to the discussion of how rampant cheating was and whether or not the measures taken to fight back against it were effective. And today, in most regards, it feels like the game industry really hasn't made a lot of progress. A recent video by YouTuber Goat basically showed just how insane the cheating is in Escape from Tarkov. Without any kill cams or data to verify cheaters in the game, he decided to use cheats himself with a specific goal of exposing other cheaters. And it worked. From his very simple approach, he was able to conclude that about 1 in 3 players were cheating, which is truly alarming information. And I mean, 4 years ago, I was talking about PUBG banning 13 million cheating accounts, which I could barely believe at the time, but seeing these new stats, that ban wave feels small compared to how many people are probably actually cheating in the game. And this information has even been further verified by AnyBrain, an AI learning model designed specifically to combat cheaters in video games. Their data seems to indicate, and of course depending on the game that you're playing, but about 30% of players in competitive games are using cheats, which is bananas. And I really just don't know what other word to use to convey my general disappointment in the human race. Sure, there's always going to be some people that want to use cheats and ruin everybody's day, but a third of competitive gamers cheating? Pick up the pace, AI. We clearly don't deserve this world. I'm kidding, of course, unless the AI is watching, in which case, I love AI stuff. Please spare me in your AI revolution. But AI overlord groveling aside, this technology seems like it could actually solve the cheating problem. I mean, I probably just jinxed it, but it truly does seem like it might be the only way, considering just how advanced cheating tech has become. If you look at the history of cheating, the anti-cheat developers are simply outnumbered. The cheating market is an extremely lucrative business right now. It used to be weird, shady, back alley websites that you got some program from a guy that would install all these keyloggers on your machine, and now it's a multi-million-dollar industry where you can download easy-to-use company-supported cheats that will also probably install keyloggers on your computer. The point being that cheating isn't slowing down, it's been ramping up to the point where large companies are building these cheats and distributing them for massive profits. I have a hard time believing that there used to be 1 in 3 people cheating in games. And when people used to cheat in games, it was usually more obvious, since there were very few effective anti-cheats and server admins were pretty much the only defense against them. So it could often seem worse in a way as they were more pronounced, but the actual number of cheaters simply had to be less. And for most of game cheating history, the software needed to cheat has had to interface directly with the game engine itself, allowing you to see through walls, turn on God mode, minimap hacks, aimbotting onto your enemies, and more. To try and stop this, software devs have tried many things, including complex encryption methods for their game files, but ultimately most of those can be cracked and they can even have adverse effects on games' performance. Then of course there's the crazy anti-cheat options that operate at the kernel level of your computer, basically giving unparalleled computer access to game developers and hoping that they don't, abuse their power with your computer. These anti-cheats are used in games like Call of Duty and Valorant, and while they likely provide a higher level of security, it's still far from foolproof. Even recently, Activision released a long blog about how they're doubling down their anti-cheat efforts and how they're combating cheaters. Apparently, they've made significant progress in certain areas, but it's still a far cry from stopping cheaters and more like just delaying them or slowing them down until they find new workarounds. And the latest era of cheat making has further ramped up this game, providing cheats that even use AI to do image recognition from a separate computer, allowing them to implement auto-aim mechanics from a truly undetectable location. At one point, DICE implemented an anti-cheat system called Fair Fight, which was designed to use stat-based anti-cheats to help ban cheaters, basically looking at a myriad of stats from KDR to accuracy and other factors to try and determine if somebody was cheating. However, it didn't seem particularly effective, or at least it was a risky system in that it almost certainly had a lot of potential to generate false positives. And Fair Fight wasn't used past Battlefield 5, although it's possible that some of those systems have been reintegrated into 2042 under a different label. I kind of think of Fair Fight as like the proto-AI anti-cheat. The right idea, but just simply not a complex enough model to really catch enough cheaters from. And that's why the new AI models are so exciting. Cheats are so subtle these days that players can activate them while streaming, and their audiences won't even know. That is, unless you have a friend named Clara who sabotages your computer when you're not around.
Wait, what the fuck? Clara!
But the point being that the most advanced cheats right now are simply undetectable even to the human eye when you watch somebody on stream or from a kill cam. But this new AI can detect them. Trained on hours of gameplay models, the AI can determine what is and isn't possible at a pixel-based frame-by-frame level. Even players using ESP, aka wall hacks that let them see the position of all the enemy players on a map, will display behaviors that only persist in people using those cheats. In Goat's Tarkov video, he mentions that while using the cheats to observe other players, he noticed that legitimate players were consistently looking around and checking angles, where players with ESP were often running in straight lines and seemed to be relatively carefree with their movement style. And AnyBrain's anti-cheat software has the ability to create profiles on this so that even if you're using the smallest amount of aimbot or wall hacks from time to time, you'll still be caught, at least according to them. But given what I've seen other AI learning models do, I don't really have a lot of reason to doubt their software's capabilities. In a recent video from YouTuber Basically Homeless, he interviews the developers of AnyBrain, who, although can't reveal every single detail about how their learning model works, were able to provide a lot of very convincing information. They just started deploying their tech in larger numbers in January, and they're expecting to see, as they described it, a switch flip this year with people recognizing the effectiveness of anti-cheat, which will hopefully be followed by developers and players demanding this technology in their games. And I really don't have a reason to doubt this. If this is the holy grail of anti-cheats, it is a massive deal. Cheaters have been a problem for most of my gaming life. But what if that can all change? Some of the advanced features of AnyBrain software allow them to make digital thumbprints of cheaters based on how they play games. If somebody gets banned for cheating, buys a new account, and then plays again, the AI will immediately be able to recognize them based on the style of play. This is pretty wild. It's similar to gait recognition technology, where casinos figured out that everyone has a very specific style of walking and that it can be used to recognize individuals in security cameras even if they don't show their face. And similarly, when playing a video game, everyone has very specific ways of looking around and moving that, when interpreted with AI models, can be used to identify you, which is truly crazy. Now, there's also a volunteer-based AI anti-cheat group making a program called WaldoVision with similar goals of being able to identify cheaters. And what I like about their approach is that they're allowing you to basically upload gameplay footage from people that you suspect are cheating. So kill cams, replays, or stream captures can be uploaded to their AI models, and it should be able to determine if the player in the video is cheating, regardless of whether or not the game even supports their AI anti-cheat software. It's a very cool concept that's putting a lot more control into players' hands. And I think it's great that there's multiple companies developing this tech, as you obviously want redundancy and competition between them. Plus, competition will hopefully bring the price down, which is extremely important. That's something that isn't talked a lot about, is that indie devs who are trying to make a multiplayer experience often don't have the budget to invest heavily in anti-cheat technology, and sometimes their products are ruined before they even get off the ground due to cheaters just flooding the game's servers. Now, of course, there's the concern that perhaps the cheat programs that are using AI image recognition and movement-based stuff will be able to improve their AI tech to be less detectable, and it could start another arms race between AI anti-cheat and the AI cheat makers. But I have a feeling that the AI-based pattern recognition is going to be pretty hard to get around. This could literally be the solution, and maybe we're in the final years of having to worry about cheaters ruining our video games. What do you guys think? Does this excite you, or are you more of an "I'll believe it when I see it" type person? AnyBrain has already conducted tests with games like Valorant with allegedly very successful results, and they're deploying their technology into many other games right now. Definitely be on the lookout for more news of this tech this year, as I think it's going to be a literal game changer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and next up, check out this video that focuses on fantastic video games that failed for the wrong reasons. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.